Hello, hello. Hey, ladies. I'm excited to do this with you all, and hopefully I will be clear and make sense like some of the other videos. However, if not, obviously I'm happy to come. I know I'm going to be doing one of the practices at least, I think, but I can come to some of the other ones too. I also I sent a video just to also like show some of the signs that you can reference as well. So hopefully this will be clear over time, but we're working together. So if it's not clear, you can just let me know, ask me, and we will figure it out. I have almost all of the song done. The only part I left undone, and you'll get another copy like you got before of kind of like where you can reference without having to look at the video. I did all of it except for the last bridge, where it says, I mean, you'll see it in the on the paper, but and the angels cry holy, that very last one before it ends. I didn't do that part yet. I'm gonna wait and see how the rest of it looks once you all have learned it and kind of had some time to practice. See if it's being too repetitive, or if it's feeling good, and maybe we just want to keep going with some of the other stuff we've used already in the song. So I'm going to kind of wait till that last part, so don't worry about that piece yet. I also did try to label it again with both on the, or together on the parts where you're supposed to sign together, and then on the parts where you're supposed to alternate, like one person is signing, I used again like one person is going to be number one and one person is going to be number two. I'm going to just go ahead and suggest, Olivia, you can be number one, Abby two, I think. Should be good. If you all start learning it and you're like, I think I find this part easier, you find this part easier, feel free to switch them up, but I'll just go ahead and I guess say, Olivia, you can be number one, and Abby, you can be number two. Okay, so hopefully they're clearly labeled in here. So let's get started. The first line, 1,000 generations falling down in worship. And so for that line, you're going to fit in all of the words that are above it. This song is not as fast as the other one in certain ways, but because we're incorporating quite a few signs, you are still going to have to sign pretty quickly, but we want to sign it with the rhythm too. So 1,000 generations falling down in worship. The first thing you're going to sign is many. So we're not going to say 1,000. We're just going to kind of summarize it into many. So the sign for many is you start with your hands closed, fist facing towards you, and you kind of bring them back and then let them out. So many, and it's like you're just saying there's a lot of them. So many, and you just do it once. Many. And then the sign for generations. The sign for generation is you're going to keep your hands open like this, and then you're going to fold them so almost like they're a C, but a little bit smushed of a C. And so what you're going to do is you're going to have them start from your dominant shoulder. So for Olivia, that would be your left. And you're going to have them go over each other. So it's like you're passing something down in a circle for the generations. So the C's will go like that. So I would do 1, 2, 3. So many generations. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do the sign for like before. And so you're going to take your right hand. Yes. I'm not going to try to sign it that way because I'll mess up. But Olivia, when I say dominant for you, you know I mean your left hand. Okay, so your dominant hand is going to be the one doing the movement. Your non-dominant hand is going to stay still. So for before, you're going to do generation, and then you keep your non-dominant hand here. You take your dominant hand, and they're both just flat like this, bent at the knuckles. And you're just going to do like this. So you come back. So before, everything before where this is setting up. So generations, and then before. So this is our timeline. This would be now, and it's everything before that. And then we're going to include all of it together. So we're kind of showing a timeline. We're showing all of these generations before, and then we're going to group them together as one. So what that is just essentially your non-dominant hand is going to be in the front, and its palm is going to be facing your dominant hand, which is going to be at your shoulder. And they're both open like this with just like a little bit of bend, and you're going to bring them together and close it so that then your hands meet like this in a modified O. So it just brings everything from shoulder to this together. And then after that sign, you're going to sign the sign together. The sign together is take both hands, keep them with thumbs up like this. Then you're going to put them together where the palms are facing each other, and you just move forward once. So it's like you're just showing the sign together, and that's essentially just bringing two things together. So you'll do all of these, and then you'll sign together, and that's the end of that phrase. So 1,000 generations falling down in worship. So you'll say many generations before and all up until now together. So you can do together like this, or you can do together in a circle. That might be a little bit easier to find the beat if you do the circle, but together would be fine like that too. Now the next line, to sing the song of ages to the Lamb. So this phrase is going to be similar to when Abby, you sign it in the second part of this verse. But to sing the song of ages to the Lamb. So what you're going to do is first you're going to sign the sign for worship. So that means you would take your non-dominant hand. So for you, that would be, or no. Yeah, you would take your non-dominant hand. So for you, that would be your right hand. You would take your dominant hand, which would be your left. And worship is like this. So it's the left is covering your closed fist, and it's just going in a circle. Okay? So that's the sign for worship. So we're going to worship, and then we're going to throw out our praise like we've done before. So worship, and then you literally just throw it from your shoulders out towards God. The sign for forever is, so it's a combined sign of always, and then it shows like the direction of going on for forever. So the sign for always is like this. Take your dominant hand, take your pointer finger, and the palm is facing towards your body, and you just go in a circle. That's the sign for always. So we're going to modify it a little bit. We're going to do a circle once, and then we're immediately going to go from your forehead out. So you go always, and then right around your forehead here, you're going to change it from a pointer finger to a Y, and you're going to go forward out that way. So always, and that's like forever. But we're going to do another thing with it too. So while your dominant hand is going forward, so for Olivia, that's your your left hand. As your left hand's going forward, your right hand's going to be going backward with a Y. So we're going to do forever like this. And that just essentially means you, like, I will worship you since the dawn of time and for forever. And so it's always, and then it goes into a Y, but the Y goes forward and a Y goes backwards. And so after the forever, it says point, and you're just going to be pointing at God, Jesus. So I'm going to have you guys try to do it. Instead of pointing to up and the right, I'm going to have you point kind of in the center and see if that looks better visually, because one of you is right-handed, one is left. It doesn't look as pretty in song to have you opposite point. So I'm going to try, instead of both of you pointing this way, just to have you point in the middle. So point as in we're talking about him. So point, and then the sign for lamb. The sign for lamb is your non-dominant hand. So for Olivia, that's your right. For Abby, that would be your left. So Abby, you can copy my signs, where Olivia, you have to modify yours a tiny bit. Because Abby, I also sign with my right hand dominant. So for Olivia, your non-dominant hand is going to be down like this, kind of open with like just cupped up like this. Then you're going to make a 2 with your dominant hand. This is supposed to mimic scissors. So think of scissors. The sign for lamb is actually mimicking shearing a lamb. So that's essentially the sign. Is lamb is we're just shearing the lamb. So with your scissors. So lamb like that. So your dominant hand is doing that. We're going to point again and then say Jesus, because we want to make it clear in the song that when we're saying lamb that we're referencing Jesus as the lamb. It's not always clear in ASL unless we add that extra part. So you're going to point again and say Jesus and then show Jesus like this. So it's essentially like you're presenting something. You know, like Vanna White would be like, You're going to do that towards Jesus kind of in the center like this. And so that will finish your phrase. This is your the second line, Olivia. So to sing the Song of Ages to the Lamb, that will look like this. Worship, throw out, praise, forever, point, lamb, point Jesus, and then show him and come down. Okay? So that ends your phrase, and then we'll move on to Abby. So Abby, you're going to start with that those second 2 phrases, and the first part of it says, "And all who've gone before us, and all who will believe." So for that one, we're going to start by saying all. We're going to do a little bit of a different all. So I know one sign for all is like this, but we're going to do it a little bit different. You start with A's. So like this on both your hands. And you're going to go from A to L. So you open it up and go like this. So it's like you're spelling all, but it's like encompassing all. So you would do it similar like this, like all. So you're including everything in front of you. So all, A to the L's, all. And then we're going to do the sign for Christian, which is just a compound sign of Jesus person. So Jesus is just, you extend your middle fingers a little bit. You all already know the sign for Jesus. It was in the last one. So Jesus, person. So Christian. So we're saying all of the Christians before. So before is your dominant hand. It's just open like this, and it goes in a circle backward. So showing everything from before. Essentially, we're saying all the Christians from before. Up till now. So the sign for up till now, make pointer fingers on both. And you're going to swoop it from your right shoulder, Abby. So you're going to start facing away from you, swoop around, and come out. And this is, again, we're showing in a timeline everything from before, all of this time. So like that. And then we're going to show and all of the Christians moving forward into the future. And so instead of how Olivia goes before this way, you're going to do future in a very similar way, but you're going to show this is now with your non-dominant hand, so your left hand. And then you're going to take your right hand and just push forward like that. So all of the stuff in the future. So that's that whole phrase. So that whole phrase, and all who've gone before us and all who will believe, will go like this. All Jesus person before, so bring your right shoulder back a little bit with it. So you're showing from before, you're going to show from up till now, and when you bring it up till now, you can bring your shoulder back to the present. So now, and then moving forward, and when you do the moving forward, lean forward. Okay, so we're showing with our bodies the space as well. All right. Then you finish out the verse by saying the last line, we'll sing the song of ages to the Lamb. Now you're going to, again, do this very similar to how Olivia did it, but with a slight difference. So she says together and then goes into worship. Instead, you're going to say connected. So the sign for connected is just open your fingers, your pointer and thumb, make a C, connect them like this, and do a circle. Okay, so essentially we're saying all of the Christians from before, now, and in the future together. So instead of together, we're just using they are connected. And then we're going to do the sign for praise, which if you want to make it easier and you just want to do the same sign of throw out praise like Olivia did in the first part, that's perfectly fine. Another sign for praise that you can change it up a little bit if you want is like this. So essentially it's just open, and I kind of think of it like a tambourine, but it's like, just kind of up like this. I don't know how to describe it better than that, but you just kind of shake your hands as you go up. So I would say probably this one is easy too, whichever one you feel like, but you'll say connected, praise, and then I think I put in there throw out praise again. Forever, so it's the same way that Olivia did it. You do a circle right here, and then, so you do a circle right in front of your right shoulder with your pointer finger, palm facing towards you. Circle, and then you're going to come up towards your forehead, and then you go into the Y. But remember, one Y is going forward with your right hand, and one Y is going backwards over your left shoulder, so they go opposite. Forever, and then you're going to point towards Jesus, which we're going to put him in the center, kind of center right. So point, Lamb, same as Olivia's. So open hand like this. This is your non-dominant. So for Abby, this is your left. Your right hand makes scissors, and it's just shearing or cutting off the wool of the sheep. So Lamb, and then you're going to point again. You're going to say Jesus, which you already know that sign, Jesus, and then you're going to show Jesus. Okay, so that's very similar to Olivia's phrase, so both of you should be doing similar things on those two phrases. So Abby, for this last one, I'm just going to show you what it looks like. We'll sing the Song of Ages to the Lamb. That will go. Okay, so that's quite a bit to get done in that phrase, so we're going to have to hustle. But don't worry, if you can't get it all in, we can modify that a little bit. Let's just see if we can. If we can't, we can modify that. So, all right, now the chorus. So for the chorus, the first part of it, gosh, it's going to take a while. How long has this been? 18 minutes, okay. For the first 3 lines of the chorus, you all are going to sign together. So for the 3 lines of your name is the highest, your name is the greatest, your name stands above them all. Those 3 lines are all in sync. So for your name is the highest, since we're doing a possessive pronoun, I'm trying to give you a little knowledge too. So next year when we do this, you'll just have it. You won't have to worry about it. All possessive pronouns, so if I'm saying my, your, it's all open palm like this. So we're talking about Jesus, God, your. So we put him in the upper right middle, so like kind of in the middle, so it looks good. So you already know the name, the sign for name, but again, non-dominant with 2 fingers. This is an H, and your dominant bounces on top. So your name, higher. So the sign for higher is you're gonna bend them at the knuckles, and you're gonna start from down here, and you're gonna come backwards and do a like kind of half circle and go up. So your name, and it's like you're taking it from down here and putting it up higher, is higher. So it's above all. Okay, so that whole phrase is And then the next phrase, your name, great. So you already know your name, your name. And then the sign for great is open palms. You're going to start up here. Like it's a forward motion and then you come down. So it's almost opposite of going up like you did on the last one. We're going to start here and go down kind of with a half circle. So great, like this, okay? Some things you can do with your mouth while you do that is you can purse it and be like this. You can go like blow out, which just means like, wow, it's really great. So either one works. Show world, no, sorry. The last phrase is your name stands above them all. And so what I want you all to do is I want you all to sign world. So I think you all have signed that before. If not, you make W's or a 3 with your on both hands, and you just do like a globe, like a circle. So your non-dominant hand is in the middle. So that Olivia, this would be your right hand. That's staying right here. Abby, this would be your right. This would be your left hand, and your dominant hand does the movement. So your non-dominant stays, and your dominant hand goes around it like a globe. So world, and then you all, hopefully this will look pretty, we'll see. I don't know, because it's just in my head, I haven't seen someone do it. But after you do world, one of you, or Olivia, you with your left hand are going to go like this and show all of the world around here. So you'll be going like this, and this just shows like all of this out in front of us. And then Abby, hopefully you with your right hand are going to go, and so it should look like, you know, like this, but with each of you doing one hand. So it's world, and then Abby, you're showing it with the right, Olivia, you're showing it with the left, and it's just saying all of this, your name is above them all. And so you'll do world, show the world, and then you say your name, which you already know that, is above all. So to do the sign for above all, make thumbs on both hands, thumbs up. Your non-dominant hand is going to be right here. It's going to start first, but it stays stationary. It doesn't move. Right hand or dominant hand. So for me, that's right. Olivia, it's your left. You're going to start down here, and so it's like saying, no, I'm not below this, I'm above it. So you start below it and go above it. And this is essentially saying God is above all of the world that we just kind of set up right here. Again, when you do, you can blow out air. I would go, so purse your lips like that. And I would bend a little and then come up when you go up. Okay, so those 3 phrases, those are all together. First phrase, your name is higher. Your name, higher. Next phrase, your name is greatest. Your name, great. And then the last one, your name stands above them all. World, you show with your right, you show with your left. And then you both say your name stands above them all, so above them all. All right, done with that first part. Now we're going to break off a little bit for the last 3 phrases, the last 3 lines of the chorus. So, for all thrones and dominions, this is going to be Olivia, so number 1. So Olivia, if you heard me earlier explain to Abby about all. So what we're going to do for all is we're going to start with A's on both hands. So that's just these down, thumbs across like this. You're going to start by your shoulders. And essentially, like, you know how we did this motion? We're going to do a similar motion, but we're going to do A's to L's. So it goes all, and we're just like kind of encompassing it. So A to L, all. The sign for thrones is kind of how you might imagine like a king or queen kind of sitting on their throne when they sit down. So you would do almost like you're about to go sit, and these are the arm, like these represent the armrest. So you kind of bring them up like this, and it kind of comes up and down, so it looks like a throne. But do like a little bit of a half arc, because you know how a lot of thrones have that really fancy like circular thing to end the hand part. So you would do like throne like this. And then we're going to do the sign for ruler. So the sign for ruler, similar to the sign for Christian, is a compound sign. The first part for ruler is a sign for rule, or it's also the sign for reign. And this is like I'm ruling over something, I'm reigning over it. So the sign for that is connect your thumb and your pointer finger. And you're going to make it into a like thing like this, so that all I'm seeing are circle, are like the circle of that. And then you're going to go back and forth, and it's like, think like you're controlling something, like you're controlling a puppet or something like that. It's similar to that. So reign, person. So essentially in that phrase, all thrones and dominions, we're saying all thrones, kingdoms, rulers. We're kind of setting that up, that we'll say at the end that he's above them, but you're setting it up by saying all thrones and rulers. And then Abby, you're going to come in on all powers and positions. You're going to say power. So the sign for power is just your non-dominant hand is, I would do like a fist, but not a hard fist, just like a light fist. And then where your muscle is, where your bicep is right here, you're going to make a C on your right hand, Abby, and you're just going to put it right here. And it's like you're mimicking a muscle. So you just put it right on there. So power. And then you're going to say world again. So we already did the sign earlier. World. You're going to show the world. So I guess for you that would be your... actually, I'm going to ask you to do this with your left so that it looks better visually. So you're going to do world, and then you're going to show the world on your left. So like we did before, you did it with your right, but this time we're going to do it with our left. So show the world. And then you're going to sign look to God and bow. Okay, so I think we've used it before in the last one. I'm not sure if you did or if Olivia did, but look to God is just make fours, and it's like we're saying a bunch of people. Because if it was just me looking, I'd just make a 2, because I just have 2 eyes. But this is like saying a bunch of people are looking to God. And so since we said the world was right here when we did this, the people are all right here. So we're going to turn them to God, which is just in that middle upper right. And then do a natural bow. Like that. So just the natural bowing gesture. And that's just essentially saying like what Olivia set up, all thrones and dominions, and now what you set up, all powers on the world, they all bow to you. The last phrase, where it says your name stands above them all. Olivia, you're going to start the phrase. You're going to say you, so we're talking about God, and I, just so you know that I put in parentheses God, so you just say you pointing towards God, which is up in the middle but a little bit to the right. So you, and essentially what we're saying is you take control and you reign. And so what we do is like both your hands are open, a little bit clawed like this, they're facing down, and instead of dropping it, instead of going like this, you're going to go backwards, you're going to go up. And so essentially that's like saying God is taking the reins. So he takes up and controls. So we're going to do reign again. I can't remember if you were the one who did that before. Yes, you were the one who did it before. So we're just going to do reign, but we're not going to add person. We're just going to do reign. So you will say, you take up reign. And then Abby, in that same phrase of your name stands above them all, you're going to say, you, talking about God. And again, we're going to do the same sign for above all that you did before. So you already know this sign. You'll start with your right hand down here and goes above the left. Okay? So that phrase, your name stands above them all. Your name stands above them all. Olivia, you will go. And then Abby, in that same phrase, you will go. And remember, Abby, we do with our mouth, or you can kind of like really purse them. Same thing with Olivia with rain. With rain, I would do pursed lips, so kind of purse your lips together. All right, done with the chorus. Yay, now we're going on to the bridge. And all the angels cry holy. So for that one, we're going to start together for the first two lines. So, and the angels cry holy. What we're going to do is angels, we're going to kind of set up something. We're going to say the angels and all of heaven together cry out holy. Okay, so the sign for angels is what you might guess, or it kind of looks like what you might guess the sign for angels would look like, but you're just going to go like this, where you do just a little wave, and it's essentially showing their wings. So do it to the beat, so if it's faster, if it's slower, but just do the angels to the beat. So angels, the sign for heaven is a little confusing. So you have both hands with your bent at the knuckles, and it's like you do a circle. So it's like you do a circle and then you do a line where they come apart. So they stay bent at the knuckles the whole time, but you circle them so your dominant hand does most of the movement. So left hand for Olivia, right for Abby. Circle, and then they come together, and then you draw a line with them. Okay, so angels, heaven, and remember, since heaven is up there, it's going to be closer up here towards the like upper right where God and Jesus and all that is. So angels, heaven. We're going to do that sign again for together. So if you all want to do together going forward, or if you want to do it going circular because it's easier to match, it's up to you. So either you go together like this, where you make A's and you put them together and you go forward, or you can go in a circle, whichever one's easier for you all to match. And then the sign for cry out. So it's similar to what you could maybe think a sign for cry out would be. So you take your hands, you make them into claws, and it's like someone's yelling. So you start here with your non-dominant lower and your dominant hand higher, and you kind of bend at the knees and you bring them out while shaking them. So cry. So we're crying out to the top middle right where Jesus is. Cry out. And the sign for holy. So we're going to do it the textbook way the first few times, and then after you all have learned it, I'm going to change it up a tiny bit. The old textbook sign for holy is you start with an H. So an H is just the two together. So this is your dominant hand. So Olivia, this is going to be your left. Abby, this is your right. And what you do is your non-dominant hand is just flat and open like this. You take the H and you go forward toward your wrist, and then when you go back over it, you open up. Instead of an H, it's a full hand like this. So this is technically the sign for clean or nice. And so holy is essentially like H, clean, is essentially the sign. Now, when we have it memorized, I'm going to have you alternate between holy with the clear H, and then holy with kind of like a modified like this, because the signs where they really show the letter of the alphabet with it, so like H for holy, are kind of becoming outdated. And so this is another sign for holy. But at first, so they know that we know what the real sign is, we're going to do holy like this. So H going across, nice going back the other way. So that whole phrase, and the angels cry holy, is all right. And then let's see the next one. All creation cries holy. We're going to do this together again. So, all creation, you already know the first one, world. So start with your W's. Go around your non-dominant. So world, and then we're going to show it forming. So you're going to open your hands like this, and we're going to start with them right here facing outward, and we're going to make a circle. So it's like we're showing the globe. So your hands stay like that the whole time, and they just make a circle to show. So world, and then like this to kind of show the world. And then we used this sign earlier, but we're going to also say like the world and creation looks to God. So we did this earlier, but make fours on both hands, and where we kind of set up creation with the world right here, we have them look to where God, Jesus, is in the top middle right. And then again, you just cry out holy, okay? So again, cry, and then the sign for holy, which you already did. So world, creation, look, cry out holy. That's that whole phrase of all creation cries holy. All right, and then the next phrase you all are going to sign separately, so not together, but you're both signing something during the phrase. So the phrase is, you are lifted high. The first thing, Olivia, what you're going to do first is you're going to say name, and then you're going to show a list. So name, and then you're going to take your non-dominant hand, which for you is your right, and then you're going to show a list. So you just count down the list. You don't have to like do each finger. You're just kind of like showing that you're counting down. This is really to say like there's a ton of people, and then you're going to take your left hand. You don't have to change this one. This stays with the list. The list stays here. Your left hand becomes a thumb, and you're going to do that sign for above all again, but you're going to keep the list here. So it's going to be a little different than before, but similar motion. So your left hand then will make a thumb, and it will go above the list to say God is above all that. And then Olivia, you're watching her say that, and you're going to agree with, I'm sorry, that was Olivia. Abby, you're watching Olivia say that. Here, Olivia, I'll do it really quick just so you can see it all done together. Okay? And then, Abby, you're watching, and you go, yes. So the sign for yes is just closed, and instead of your thumb being on the side, it's going to go across your fingers like this, and you're just going to shake it forward like that. So yes, and it's like you're answering her, yes, I agree. And then you're going to point to God and go, you worthy. So the sign for worthy is make like A-OK, do that on both hands. They start facing each other and together down here, and then you make a circle and connect them going up. So worthy in a circle, worthy, and we're going to say of praise. So you earlier used that sign for praise. If that didn't feel as natural and you wanted to use this, you can use that too. Either one, or you can throw it out from your heart. It's up to you. So you're just agreeing with her and saying like, yeah, and that's why he's worthy of praise. So yes, worthy of praise, or praise, whatever you'd like to do. And then that last phrase, holy forever. before it goes into the second verse, you all are going to sign together, and you're going to say proclaim. And so this is also the sign for announce, but you make pointer fingers, put them at your mouth like this, and you're just going to go out. And you should end with your fingers facing out like that. So it's like you're announcing something, but we're proclaiming, both of you together, you, because we're talking about God, so you, holy, which we already talked about, holy forever. So you're going to do the sign you all did in that first verse, forever, together. And so this one, just follow the beat, because you're going to go right back into the verse. So that's just kind of a good end to the chorus. So that phrase, holy forever, you'll together sign, proclaim you, holy forever. All right. Second verse. All right, so Olivia, you're going to start us out again. You're going to do the first two lines. Abby, you're going to do the second two lines of the second verse, and then you all, at the last line before it goes back into the bridge, y'all are going to do a call and response to each other again. So the first phrase, if you've been forgiven and if you've been redeemed. Olivia, get ready. We're going to have to sign a little fast. So what we're going to do, instead of before, I know you did before like this, but we're using it in a little different way. So we're going to say before like this. So just make a 5, and it just goes backwards in a circle. So like, and when you do it, you can put your shoulder back just a little bit too. So we're showing them with our body too that we're talking about a previous time. So before, the sign for sin, which I know you used in the other one, but again, it's just make an X. This is an X in sign language, so you just make like you take your pointer finger and bend it at the knuckle, and then you just come from here and go like this. Sorry, you already did it, so I'm just going to show it to you again. So sin, and then we're going to do the sign for increasing, and so that just with your right hand, Olivia, you're going to make an H. Put them together. It's going to be facing down. Your left hand is going to be an H, starting by facing up, and what it's going to do is it's adding to it. So we're essentially saying increasing. So it's like you take it and add. I would do it 2 or 3 times, depending on how much time you have with the music. So you're going to say, before sin increasing, probably will only have enough time to do it twice. Increasing, you're gonna look towards God, pray. So when you're increasing, I would do it to the side, whether it's to the left or to the right. I would do it to the side so that when you go to pray to God, it's an obvious shift of placement. So if you want to do sin increasing, you can do it that way, or you can do sin increasing that way, whichever. And then when you go to pray, I would shift and look towards God, pray. And then the sign for help me. We'll see if you have enough time for this. If you have enough time, you'll go pray, the sign for help me. So we're going to go from God to us. So your non-dominant hand, so Olivia, that's going to be your right, is like that. Your dominant hand has a thumbs up, so your left hand has the thumbs up, and you put them on top of, you put the left hand on top of it, and you start from where God is, and you just come towards yourself. So this is the sign for help, but if we're doing it directionally, it's saying God helps us. So I pray, help me, and then you're going to do the sign for touch heart, which I think we've done before in the other one. And so that's just with your dominant hand, you're going to touch your heart like this. Touch heart. And then as you're saying the next 2 signs, you're going to like mouth wow. So the next 2 signs are just going to say forgive and save. So he touched your heart. The sign for forgive is like this. So your non-dominant hand is flat and facing up. Your dominant hand, you're going to bend it so that it's like down like this, and then you're just going to go back to forward. So from your wrist to your fingertips. So forgive, and then the sign for save, which is just make S's with both hands. They start together and then they break apart. So that whole phrase, if we can fit it in, if not, I would take out help me and just do pray, touch heart. So if we can all fit it all in, it should look like this. If you've been forgiven and if you've been redeemed. I was trying to remember it, so you'll go faster because you'll have it memorized, but that's what the phrase should look like. If you took out the help me, it would look like this. And then you can do forgive and save. So whatever you have time for. The next phrase, sing the song forever to the Lamb. We're going to use something that we've done in our other one that I know you did sign, so you should already kind of know this. You're going to say, now share. Okay, so all of that happened, you were forgiven and saved, and so now you're going to share it. So what you do is you're going to say now, so make Y's with both hands. Now, right in front of you, so it starts up, goes down. Now, share, which you did in the last one, so share. So non-dominant is like this, dominant hand is just going back and forth on top. Share, and you're going to sign let the world know. Look to God and praise. Okay, so you're letting them know your testimony and telling them where they can go. So that whole phrase of sing the song forever to the Lamb for you, Olivia, will look like this. Okay? Alright, now we are on to Abby. You do the next two lines. If you walk in freedom and if you bear his name. This one, Abby, you also are going to have to sign pretty quickly. If like it's just too much to get in the phrase, we can change this up too. Just let me know. But for right now, so if you walk in freedom and if you bear his name, you're going to say before. So I think you've already done this sign, but it's just your dominant hand. So remember, Abby, you can copy my signs because we're both right-handed. So your right hand goes out like this. Before, and then you're going to do the sign for slave. And so similar to save, where save is essentially slave but broken free, but slave is just going to be like this, where you're kind of chained right here. So before slave, we're going to do the sign for lost. So lost is like this, where you have O's that are flat together like this. They're with each other, and then you drop it. So it's like, I lost it, so lost. And then with your left pointer finger, you're going to show a person walking like they're lost. Okay, so before, slave, lost, wander. So this is like a wandering lost. And then you say, you, God, come down. So he's coming down from heaven. So you, come down, walk beside me. And then you're going to say, thank you. And then we're going to sign the sign because it's saying because it's talking about believers and who will bear his name. So when you say thank you, we're going to sign him coming into your heart and kind of like you accepting Jesus. So what that is going to be is your left hand is going to stay right here at your heart. So you're going to go, thank you. And then your left hand's going to come here. Your right hand is going to be open like this, where God and stuff is in the right, and then you're going to have it come into your heart and close like this. So This is essentially you accepting Jesus, and then you're going to do a cross over your heart. So your your dominant hand, right hand, is going to have the pointer, and it's going to be the horizontal one. Your left hand is going to be the vertical one. All right, so come into heart. So that whole phrase will look like this: if you walk in freedom and if you bear his name. Okay. Okay, that's that, if you walk in freedom and if you bear his name. So then after that, sing the song forever to the Lamb. You're going to say, thank you again to God. So with both hands though this time. So thank you to God. Praise, which you've used before, or you can use this one. So thank you, praise. And then you're going to say, I'm giving all the glory to you forever. So what we're going to do is we're going to say full. So the sign for full is take your left hand and make a fist. Your thumb can be across the fingers. And then you're going to take your right hand, which is going to be open with the palm facing down, and it's just going to go across it. So it's like it's hit its max. It's full. So full. And then we're going to do the sign for glory, which the sign for glory is your left hand is open like this. Your right hand goes like this. Like it like claps it, and then when it comes apart, it's open and your fingers wiggle. So glory. So full glory, and then we're gonna grab it and give it to God. So after you do the glory, you're gonna grab and make a modified O, and then you're gonna turn your hands, and it's like you're throwing it out to him. So full glory, and then you grab and give to God. And then you've already done the sign before. You're going to say, give it to God forever. So you've already done the sign for forever. Just repeat it again. So that whole phrase of sing the song forever to the Lamb, Abby, in the second verse, you're going to sign. All right. And then that last part, they repeat. They don't do this in the first verse, but to go back into the bridge of the angels cry holy, it's going to do sing the song forever and amen. So what you're going to do, Olivia, since Abby just finished saying forever, you essentially are responding to her. So I would obviously be watching her, and in that phrase, you're going to start off the sing the song forever and amen. You're going to start off by saying yes, kind of like she did to you earlier, where she watched and was like, yeah, I agree. You're going to be looking at her and say yes, and you're going to say we, and so for we, you're going to make a 2 on your dominant hand. So for you, your left hand. And you're going to just go between the two of you. So the two of us will praise and lift you up forever. Okay, so you use some of these signs already. So you're going to say, yes, we will praise, and then do the sign of lift you higher, which we used in the chorus. And then forever, which we've used before too. So forever. And then Abby, you're watching her as she says that. And you're going to respond to her and say, amen. And we're going to sign amen in 2 different ways. The first way that you sign amen is, Abby, your left hand is going to have a palm like this. Your right hand is going to take a thumb, and it's like a stamp of approval, which essentially is what we're saying when we say amen. We're saying, I agree. Okay, so you're just going to stamp like this. This is a sign for amen. Another sign for amen, because essentially when we say amen, we are saying, like, I agree, is the sign for agree. And so we're going to sign amen, and then Abby, you're going to hit you're gonna take your, sorry, let me move over. You're gonna take your dominant hand and point towards your forehead. So we're essentially gonna say think same. So think, and then the sign for, it's an older sign, but we're gonna modify it. So we're gonna start with ones on both hands, palms facing up like this. And you're just gonna switch them from facing up to facing down in like a half circle. So you're gonna go think same. Okay, so you're gonna say amen and then amen. Wait, let me move back over. Amen and then amen. Think same. All right, that's done the second verse. So that last phrase, sing the song forever and amen. Olivia, you're gonna go, yes, we praise, lift you up forever. And then Abby, as you're watching, you're going to say, amen, amen. All right. Now we're on to the bridge again. So it goes to an all, how long has this been? Oh, it's already been an hour. Gosh, okay. I'm trying to hurry up because there is some repetition coming, so. All right. So, and all the angels cry holy. This is actually going to be separate for right now. So, Olivia starts out the phrase and she says, which we've used these signs before, heaven. So go back earlier in the thing and listen. Heaven. Angels. And after you do the sign for angels, Olivia, I'm going to have you do this. So do angels, and then in front of you, use your non-dominant hand. So that's going to be that's going to be on the right. That's going to be your right hand. So you put your non-dominant hand up and make a 4. On your other hand, so your dominant hand, you're going to make a 4 as well. And you're going to show lines. So your dominant hand stays stationary. It doesn't move. The dominant hand, so Olivia, your left hand goes like this and makes lines. And essentially what we're saying is, in heaven, the angels, the host of angels, you're going to show that line, and then you're going to, we'll just do that for now. I might add something more later, but let's do this. Just show the host of angels. And then Abby, you're going to say, proclaim holy. Okay, so essentially, Olivia's setting it up and saying heaven and the whole host of angels, and you're answering with saying they proclaim. So start from your mouth and go out, announce, proclaim, and then the sign for holy, which we've already talked about. So just look back at that. So that whole phrase, and all the angels cry holy. Olivia, you'll start by saying heaven, angels. And I would blow out like this because it's showing a lot of them. And then Abby, you're going to go proclaim holy. All right, all creation cries holy. Abby, you're going to keep that phrase going. And you're going to say, like for the all creation, you're going to say the world. It's essentially what we used before. You're going to say world and all the people proclaim, and you're both going to say proclaim. Actually, I'm going to have you both do that whole phrase. Let me change that up. Both. Okay, so for all creation cries holy, you're both going to do what you did before. World, show, one of you shows on the right, so Abby, you do your right hand. Olivia, you do your left. And then you're going to sign together again, and then proclaim holy. Okay, so that whole phrase, you'll both do it together. You'll say, world, proclaim holy. And remember, when we're saying holy, we're looking at Jesus / God, because that's what they're, that's who they're saying it to. All right, the next phrase, you are lifted high, holy. What you're going to do is you're going to use a phrase that we've used before. Olivia, for the you are lifted high, you're going to say you as in Jesus, God, lifted high, which we've used before, so you should already know that one. So you lifted high. And then Abby, you're going to use a phrase that you've already used just recently, and you're again going to say full glory, and then you're going to give it to God. Okay, so that's for the phrase you are lifted high, holy. Olivia, you're going to start by saying you lifted high. And then Abby, you're going to add full glory, give to God. And then it goes to, and then it says holy forever, which you'll both do together. And that's just we're just going to make it simple on that one, since it's going to go back into the bridge again. For that holy forever, you're both just going to point at God and say holy forever, the sign that we've already done. So you holy forever. Okay? So then it goes back into parts of the bridge, and it says, hear your people sing holy. And so what we're going to do, that phrase is going to be Olivia, and then Abby, you're going to do the next phrase, to the King of Kings. So Olivia, for the hear your people sing holy, you're going to say tap God. So like God is in the middle upright. So you're going to tap him, and that's just palm. It's like you're tapping someone's shoulder. Similar thing. But you're just going to be tapping where God is. So it's like you're getting his attention. So it's like you're getting his attention, and you're going to have him look down. Okay, so God is in this top right. He's going to look down to where we are from heaven. And essentially what you're saying is, look, all of your people are praising you and crying holy. So we had to get his attention, tell him to look down, and then you're going to say Jesus person, so Christians, Jesus person. And then I would do the sign for together, but I would do a circle and do like all encompassing in front of you. So Jesus person together, and again the sign for praise holy. So that whole phrase will look like, hear your people sing holy. Olivia, the phrase will look like, okay, so after you have God look down, I would just shift to your side a little bit and then say Jesus person together. The next phrase, to the King of Kings, holy, what you're going to sign, Abby, is you're going to, towards where Olivia is, whatever side she's on for you, you're going to say same. So same is just making Y's. They face each other, and they go from you to Olivia. So you're saying, I'm the same as her. So same. We just point at ourselves. I praise King above all. Okay, so the sign for King, I would keep your left hand open like this, almost like you would if you were like praising this way. So King, and for King you make a K, so that's put your two fingers and then put your thumb in between them to make a K, and it just starts from your left shoulder and it goes down to your right hip. It's the sash that like royalty wears. That's what it's mimicking. So King, and then you've already done this sign above all, so it starts down and goes up. So your whole phrase to the King of Kings will be same. I praise King above all. Okay? And then Olivia, we're going back to you. You're going to say, and you will always be holy. And so what you're going to say is you, so we're talking to God, you, and the sign for finish. So it's just your open, fingers open like this, palms facing towards your body, and then you're going to shake it and go towards like where your palms are facing outward. So finish. And with your mouth, you're going to mouth the word fish. So it's going to go. So you finish, and then you've signed this before, Olivia. You're going to do it again. Take hold or take control, reign, which you've done before too. And then you're going to do the sign for moving forward. So depending on how you want to do it, you can do it two different ways. You can just do moving forward like this, where they're bent at the knuckles and you just go moving forward. Or you can do where this is now, so this is your non-dominant right hand, and then your dominant hand goes forward like that. Whichever looks better with the music, you decide. So your phrase, Olivia, and you will always be holy, will be like this. You finish, take control, reign, moving forward or moving forward. Whichever way you want. And then you're both going to sign together the last part before it goes into the bridge, into the chorus again. You're both going to sign holy forever. And that's just essentially you, we're talking to God, holy forever, which we've done before. Okay, so this is a repeated sign, not a new one. All right, and that's the last time we do the bridge until it's done at the very end. Now it does the chorus 2 times in a row. That's the last thing I'm going to be doing for this recording, because that last bridge, I'm going to wait and see how the rest of it looks before we do it. But we're going back into the chorus. So I'm not going to do a ton of re-explaining. The first 3 lines of the chorus are going to be pretty much the same. So it goes in and says, oh, because your name is highest. And so essentially, we're just going to say, your name higher, like we've done before, okay? The judges at regionals wanted some consistency, some repetition with more consistent, like English signs. So that's why we're going to be a little repetitive and follow it. So your name higher, which we did before, and then it says your name is greatest, and this line we're just going to add 1 extra sign. So it's the same as before, your name great, but then I'm also going to have you guys do strong as well, which we did in the other song. But strong is just do your closed fist, and you start down here and it goes down and up, and that's just showing strength. So you're going to say your name is greatest, your name great, and then like this. So you see how my body goes up and down to kind of show the strength of it. And then your name stands above them all. We're going to do what we did before again. Olivia, you're going to do your left hand to show the world. Abby, you're going to do your right hand to show the world. So opposites. And then above all, which we've already done. So that phrase, your name stands above them all, still signing together. Olivia going with your left, Abby going with your right, and then both of you doing above all. All right, and so then it goes back to above all thrones and dominions. So we're going to do, I think, a little bit of what we did before. We're going to combine some signs. So and all thrones and dominions, Olivia, you're going to do all, like we did before, all thrones, rulers, so like rule person, look to God, bow. Okay, so we've used some of these signs before, so I'm not going to go through all of them again, but all thrones, rulers, look to God, bow. And then Abby, you're going to sign and all powers and positions. You're again going to say power, world, and I'm going to have you go both hands since it's just you signing this. Look to God and bow. Okay. Well, actually, no, I'm not going to do both hands. It'll make it easier if we just do the left. So I'm going to say, so you say, like you did in the first course, power, world, look to God, bow. Okay, so similar structure to what Olivia just did too. And then you're both going to sign in this next phrase where it says, your name stands above them all. You, Olivia, are again going to say, you take control, reign. And then Abby, you're going to answer her right after, but still in the same phrase, and say, you above all. Okay? So that phrase, your name stands above them all, you'll just essentially, Olivia, you reign, and then Abby, you're going to say, yes, you above all. Then it goes right back into the chorus again. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to have you break off a tiny bit. So when it goes back into the chorus and it says, oh Jesus, your name is the highest, I'm going to have Olivia, you're going to say, so it has a 1 by it, so you'll see it. You're going to like essentially implore the audience to join you all. Since there's been some repetition, they should be able to, in theory, join. And so we're going to say, come on, to the audience, like, come on, join me. And so the sign for join is your non-dominant hand is going to make a C, and it's going to be facing towards your chest. And your dominant hand is going to make a H, and it's going to come and like go inside the circle. So it's like you're joining in. But since it's coming from the audience to us, we're asking them to join us. That's why the motion comes towards us. So you're going to say, come on, join me, proclaim you, God. Again, now we're going back, you, and then you just go to higher. And then we're going to add one other phrase to that too. So, come on, join, proclaim, you, as in God, higher. And then you're going to use the sign for awesome to like change it up just a tiny bit. So the sign for awesome is like this, your non-dominant hand. So it's going to be for Olivia, for you, it's going to be your right hand is going to be pointing like this with your palm facing towards your body. And then your dominant hand, so Olivia, your left hand, is going to be open like this with just the slight claw, and then it's going to go across the finger and close. So awesome, like that. Okay, so that's just how you're going to end that phrase. Oh Jesus, your name is the highest. So here's that whole phrase. Come on, join, proclaim, God, higher, awesome. And then Abby, you're going to also do a very similar thing for your name is the greatest. You're going to say, come on, join. So again, Abby, you can just follow my hand movements because again, we are both right-handed. So your left hand's going to have a C and it's facing toward you. Your right hand's going to have an H and it's just going to come. So come on, join, proclaim, which we've already used before, proclaim you above all. Okay, so you know most of those signs already. So Abby, that whole phrase will look like this. Okay. Oh shoot. I'm sorry. I was a little ahead of myself. Your name is the greatest. Abby, you are going to say, we're not going to say above all, you're going to say, come on, join, proclaim, you great. So we use this in the first time too. great. So I'm sorry, I was a phrase ahead. So you're going to say, Abby, your name is the greatest. Come on, join, proclaim. You great. And then I'm going to have you do a sign just to kind of add a little change up on that phrase that you did before. So we're going to say like your name is famous, shiny. So you do great, and then with your left hand you make the H like this, and then with your right hand you keep them open, extend your middle finger, and it touches and kind of shimmers off of it, kind of wiggles off like that. And you can blow out with your mouth and go, so great. And then the next phrase where it says your name, oh, it stands above it all. You've done this kind of phrasing before. We're going to repeat it. So Olivia is going to start by saying name and then list. You above all. Okay, but remember, Olivia, you can keep your hand open and do the above where it goes above them. So it's just saying, his name's above all those. And then Abby, you're watching her say that, and you're going to respond like you've done before, and you're going to say yes. And then you're going to do the sign for champ. So it essentially is a sign that it's basically saying like you're the best, you're awesome. It's an ASL sign that they use where they call someone like champ. It's you're the top, you're the best. And so that sign, Abby, is like this. So your non-dominant hand, your left hand will have a 1, and your right hand is going to make a 3 this way. So with your thumb, pointer, and middle, and you're going to bend the top to the pointer in the middle a little bit, and they're going to come on top like this. So your right hand will hit on top of the pointer finger, kind of like in the middle right here, and you're going to make a thing like this. This is meaning you're champ. So it's like a CH. Okay, so Olivia is going to say name, list, you above all. And you're watching Abby, and you're going to say yes, you champ. So you, God, you are awesome. You are the top. And then we're almost there, don't worry. It goes into, again, above all thrones and dominions. This is going to be Olivia. So you've done this phrase before, but we're going to change it up a tiny bit. You're going to say, you're going to show the world. So I would, show the world in front. I guess you'll do it with your right. So you'll show the world. And then you're again going to go thrones, rulers, and then you're going to take, it's like you're taking, like essentially like they're taking off their crown and they're giving it to God, saying you're above. So you're going to say for that above all thrones and dominions, you're going to say the world, thrones, rulers, give crown to God. And so remember, God's in our top right, and you're just going to bow as you give the crown. So to give the crown, you make L's on both hands and just bend your pointer, put them right here, and take it off. Okay? So that whole phrase will look like this. Okay? And then Abby, you're going to do the next phrase, and all powers and positions. We've done this before, so all power, but we're going to do a series of things. We're going to say power, worry, and sin. So we're going to kind of say all the things on earth, we give them to you. And then we're going to say you're higher than them. So we'll say all power, which you already did. The sign for worry, Abby, is you make B's. So put your hands together, put the thumbs across like this. They're going to be facing each other, and you're right. They're going to It's like one goes, then the other one. So like in a half circle, kind of like windshield wipers, but instead of like this, it's going to be worry. So all power, worry, and then I described this earlier to Olivia, so if you want to look back you can, but sin is you take your pointer fingers, bend them at the knuckle, start right here, and then you go out. So sin, and you do it twice, so it comes in and then out again and comes in. So you're saying all of this we're going to gather, so bring it together, and it's just like you're lifting it up to God. And then you're going to say with your right hand, you keep all of this that you lifted up to him, keep that right there with your left, you higher. So instead of this one with the thumb, you're just going to do bent at the knuckles, go up. Okay, so that whole phrase, let me back up a little bit so maybe you can see it better. So this is and all powers and positions. You're going to say all power, worry, sin, gather it, give it to God, and then with your right hand while you're still holding the stuff, you're going to say you higher. All right, and then both of you are going to sign in this next phrase. Olivia is going to start it by setting it up. She's going to say, so this is to end before it goes into the very last bridge. It says, your name, oh, it stands above them all. So Olivia is going to say, wow. So wow is just in front of you. You open, bend at the knuckles, and wow. You're now going to say worry, Olivia. So if you want to look back at how I just described it, it's making the B's, and they just go like this, worry, fear, and we're asking a question when we do this. So we're saying, do we need to worry and fear? So you will say, worry, fear. Fear is just like this. Now your eyebrows are going to be up when you do that because you're asking a question, and your partner, Abby, is going to answer it. So you are going to say, Olivia, wow, worry, fear, eyebrows up, and Abby's going to look at you and say, no. So no is just your two fingers like this, no, but you're going to do it like this, like you're answering her, no, towards her. So no. Why? So that's going to be you, Abby, still. You're going to say no. Why? And that's with your eyebrows up. That's why there's a little carrot thing above them. So why? And then you're going to say, you're going to answer your own question. So you're asking a rhetorical question. You're going to say, no. Why eyebrows up? And then you're going to answer it and say, God reigns above all. So I described some of those before. So reigns above all. Okay, and then that ends the last time that you do the chorus, and it goes into the bridge one more time. So that's everything for now. I'm going to stop there for now. Like I said, there's just this like last little bit down here that I'm going to wait to see how the rest of it goes. But all the rest of it should be done, and it's just that last like 20 seconds that we'll figure out as we go. Yeah, let me know if like anything's not clear. I can try to find a video and send it to you in between when I see you guys. But let me know. Bye.